Alrighty guys, so here is part 2. Now we are on the leaf. So what I did was I just took regular Primo green, added some black to it to make it a nice dark green. I have a bright pearl green and wasabi. Alright, so we're going to just make like a leaf blossom here. And again, we're going to make this into a Skinner blend. And since it's more than 2, I usually just make little, whatever you want to call these, little triangular plugs or whatever. Okay. Just enough to where it's going to be, you know, like perfectly square on top so that they all fit together. But then again, it doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. I like the way that one looks. Looks a lot better than my last one. It's also less clay. So this isn't going to be a really huge leaf. Because when I do leaves like this, where they're going to be bundled. Hey Jake! Sorry guys. This is our new daily life. Makita never barked, so he never barked. But now that Makita is not here, I think he realizes that he's like the protector of the house now or something. I don't know. Or he's just a pain in the butt. Could be either one. Mailman just came, so I don't know what he could be barking at. And I lost my train of thought. Yeah, when you make like a blossom or something, I want to call it a bushel maybe. Maybe a bushel would be better to say instead of a blossom. It's really hard for me to reduce those because you want to keep that shape. So I don't work with as much clay as I would a flower or a kaleidoscope cane. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and reduce this now. Went outside, it's still raining. I just wish it would snow. But if it keeps up like this, we might actually get a nice winter out of it. That would be kind of awesome. So my brothers lived in Palm Spring area, actually Indio, for, wow, maybe 10, 11 years. And in Indio, you know, you get 120, 125 degrees in the summer, but your winters are like, oh, I don't know, maybe high 60s, 70s. So he hasn't felt a winter for a very long time. He used to live in Minnesota. That's where his last job was. And yeah, those winters were unbearable for him. He hated every minute of it. So he's going to get a nice mild winter here. Maybe. So he had to go out and buy jackets and stuff because he hasn't needed one in all the years he was in Palm Springs. So he's preparing. Alright, so looks like we got a nice blend going on here. Just going to kind of even it out. Okay, so there's our blend. And This one I can't screw up like I did the flower. But one of the leaves, one of the sides is going to be light and the other side is going to be dark. So I just have to make sure that I'm folding it up the right way. Now, am I going to put any kind of center, you know, like branches or something in it? I'll have to see what this looks like when we get there. I don't normally, but I could go a nice dark brown or something. But I'm not making like a leaf where I've got all those stems coming out of it, or whatever you want to call them. I'm sure no matter what language I use, you guys will figure out exactly what I'm saying. Even though my terminology is always wrong. Okay, so the leaf is basically going to look like that. So I may not need to put a center into this because of the colors, but I'm thinking I might want to do like that dark green that's on this side. Might put a strip right in the center. So I'm going to see what this looks like. Okay. So what I'm trying to do now is just kind of get it more round. Okay, I think something right here might actually look good. All right, so we're going to try it. Okay. So if I go about right there. And we're just going to do a very, very thin strip of this dark. So I'm going to take it at a number 5. Okay. And then I'm going to wrap it as well in the dark. Probably at a number 5. Just so that it closes the leaf up a little bit. Now, you may not even get to see much of that, but that's okay. Now, I could leave it like that, but I always love the outlines because the outline just seems to finish it off better. Okay, so we're going to run this at a number 5. I mean, I can literally do a number 6 too, but I think I am. I'm going to go to a number 6. Because I don't want a whole lot. I just want to kind of show kind of a border on this. Okay, so this is at a 6. So it is thin. Okay. Now, if you want to put it on, you can put it on starting like right there. You don't really see the line, so if I can keep a little strip of that yellow showing, that would be the best. That way I know kind of where that center is. That's probably going to disappear as we go, but hoping it'll stop raining. I can take them out for a little bit of a walk. So I'm going to have a leaf in the center, and I'm probably going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to need a total of 5 of these. But again, I do not want to make this very big because I've got to fill in all the areas with the actual leaf part of it, basically, or the, you know, I don't know what you call them. Okay, you got your leaf on the end, and then you got your branch. Call it a branch. So basically I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 branches and a little bit coming off the bottom. But if you make this big and then you try and reduce it into the shape, it's not going to be square, it's not going to be round. I just want enough translucent to keep its shape and to fill up all the areas that don't have green. So that's why I don't want to make this really big. I've made this maybe 1 or 2 times, and I can't remember how big I went on the last one. So even if I can get maybe 10 out of these, then I can make 2 separate leaves, or 2 separate bundles, or whatever you want. Again, what you're going to call them, bushel. If anybody has the right terminology, let me know. Alright, so I mean, I can do it like this, but if I do 1, 2, 3, it's going to be a big cane. So I want to go half this size. So now I'm just going to start pulling. Okay, because I've already got a little bit of waste, and I don't want to waste too much of this. And I don't know if I want to make this 1 inch instead of 1.5 inches. I think the smaller it is might make it a little bit easier to where I don't have to reduce it that much. So we're going to go again. We're about 10 inches now, but it still seems like it's a lot bigger than I want to play with. Alright, but we're going to leave it at this. Okay, so this is why when you roll it, it's kind of hard. Because as you can see, it just rolls into all kinds of different shapes. Okay, so now I'm going to do 1.5. So 1.5, there's 2, there's 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, and then I'm going to make this one a little smaller, because see how much this is going to take in translucent? So that was something I didn't want to do. Okay. So this is definitely going to be 1 inch, and this is probably going to be the one that we work with, because I think it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to set all these aside somewhere. Oh, I had such a nice clean desk last week. I kind of destroyed that really quick. Okay, so now we're going to shape these so that they're nice and pointy on the ends. Okay, but not too much. I don't want it too much. Okay, so you can see where your line is, and that kind of helps push these down, but as you can see, the other side doesn't. So make sure that you got it going even, or when you get to the middle of the clay, you might end up getting a sideways leaf. Okay, so I'm just grabbing from that. Yep. I have no guide on this one. Okay, so I'm trying to make it so that it's nice and thick in the center and just thin on the leaves, or on the ends of the leaf. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is going to be my daily issue for now on, I think. I'd put him outside, but it's raining out there, so he's kind of stuck in the house. But honestly, he doesn't hang out. He hangs out in the summer. he'll go try and find some lizards. And then if he finds one, he'll sit out there and wait for it all day. But yeah, it just went from a beautiful day to very cold within just 2 days. So, not a whole lot I can do. Alright, so that's basically what we're going to do, okay? And then this is going to come out here. Okay, so you can space these any size you want. If you want the cane smaller, put them closer together. But this is what I'm thinking, right? So again, it's been a long time since I've made one of these. And I don't know if I want to stagger these just a little bit. I do like a little staggering. Okay. And basically that. So now all we need is we're going to need a stem that's going to come off of each of these. So I might have to separate these a little bit more. Or I just have one main stem and then these are all just going to hook to it. If I do it that way, it's going to make it a lot easier. So that's what we're probably going to do. So I am going to go reduce some. Actually, I don't. I think we're going to just use, and see how small this is? So we're going to make this at the thickest setting. Okay, and then I just want to think, I think this is going to be the center instead of that light green. If I have enough here. Looks like I'm out of bright green. Oh, look at that, look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh, wait, look at this. This is green and yellow. What happens if I do that? And then add a little bit of, haha, see? Today is actually working out. All right, so I've got that at a 5. I don't like a 5. I think I'm going to go to a 3. And we'll see how thick it is. But that might actually work. Oh, I love when I find stuff like that, right? And then if it's too thick, then I can put it all in the pasta machine and reduce it at the thickest setting. So we'll see how thick it is. I mean, it's more of like, I don't know, perspective. Because you don't want this really thick branch and then teeny leaves. But when you put the translucent around it, you want to at least see what you've made. See, so I know this is going to be way too thick. All right. Yeah, that's pretty thick. So if I were to do this, right, where this connects, it's pretty big. Yeah, I know it's thicker than where it's got to go, right? So what is this, a 1 inch? So I need to take off about a 1/4 inch. Yeah, see how thick that is? That just looks silly. But then I don't want to go really thin. All right. All right, let's go ahead and throw it through the pasta machine, and we really don't have a choice but to make it at the thickest setting. And I just have a feeling this is going to be too thin now. And this are what? This is at a 1 inch. But how long do I need it? All right, so let's see. Okay, so you're going to want to connect that. All right. Okay, and then you're going to have to fill this all with translucent underneath it. All right, I think this is going to work. And then I want the stem a little longer. Not by much, just a little bit. All right. So this is what I'm saying, that if you make it small, you don't have to reduce it too much. Okay, but now you have to fill all of these areas with translucent. Although I don't want the translucent to be filled where the leaves are touching, because if you put translucent there, your leaves are going to be kind of floating around. So basically what that means is we just got to put translucent. We're going to put it around each of these, but we're not going to touch that side. Okay, and this is going to be really thin. Let me hit pause. I'm going to have to clean my blades again since I've got a bunch of green on them. So I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we've got some Cernet translucent done. Okay, now we're going to do our leaves. So we're going to set that down for now. And like I said, we're going to keep that bottom part of the leaf open. Okay, because we want that to actually touch the stem. Okay. And yeah, I didn't I didn't watch where I was cutting. As you can see, I left a lot on the edges because I wasn't thinking. I got up to change a print, and when I came back, I just kind of went right into this, both feet ahead, and didn't really think too much. So now we just got to do a little bit of fixing. So if you don't want to do any fixing like me, then make sure you get it right the first time. All right, so we're going to do the top first, okay? Okay, then we're going to figure out each of the leaves, where we're going to put them, and we're going to do the same thing on all the leaves. Now, I've left this at a number 5. You can do a number 3, because you're basically going to, you're going to fill it anyways. So I just start it at a number 5, and then obviously I'm going to have to go thicker as I move along. Okay, so now make sure your leaves are even. Okay, and again, how did I make that? How did I make that so small? I have no idea. It's an Irene moment. So let's try that again. And now we'll just cut it to the individual leaf, so that I don't do that again. Okay. So make sure you leave that little space. And yep, I had a feeling that was going to happen. Do you have to be exact? No. But I need to set a good example of what I'm doing, right? So we'll come back in here and do it again. Okay. See, to me, it's still too much. So I'm going to take this and cut just a little piece off. All right. That's good right there. I just need a little bit off of the top. Okay, so got that. As you can see, I don't make these very often, so it's a little bit of a struggle. And if this works, then I've got that other one that I did at 1.5 inches. I might reduce that down to 1 inch as well. And then I'll make a couple bigger ones. So I'm kind of off camera on this, but all I'm doing is wrapping it. And because my eyes are so bad, I have to do it a little closer to me. Okay, so I'm gonna put that right there. Okay, so I'm liking that so far. And if you want your stem to kind of be a little curved, you can do that as well. Okay, so we have 2 more. Okay. That about right there. And then after this, I think I'm going to brave the weather out there. Take Mr. Jake out. Considering there wasn't supposed to be any rain coming in today. Alright, so now this one's a little bigger, I think, so I might put this up on top. Okay, so that's why I like to stagger them. Oh, I didn't stick it that hard to it. See, like that. And then, do I want to stagger this one lower than this? I don't know yet. Once I get it in there, I'll figure out how I want it to end. So, and everything else is basically just going to be logs to fill up the rest of that. And if you don't like the shape of your leaf, then go ahead and redo them. Once you put the translucent on, just give that final shape to them. You don't have to take it all apart. Okay, so we can do it like that. Okay, so now basically we want to make this into a leaf shape, so we're kind of be bringing it down like that. Okay, so now we have to fill everything up. So we've got a couple areas right here, so I'm just going to make it into a V shape. Actually, the rest of this is all going to be a log, so I'm going to move that right there. I don't have any green on my hand that I know of. Okay, and then we're just going to fill it up. Okay, so let's see how that's going to fit in there. Okay. So that's a good little spot right there. Okay, this one's not touching like it should. Okay. And then if there's a bunch of extra, we will go ahead and shave off some. Okay, so this needs to be really thin right here. Okay. All right, we're going to need some more. So I'm going to cut me a couple more slices. I'm not even going to run it through the pasta machine. I'm just going to roll it in my hands. Wow, now it's really quiet in here. I don't have a TV in here, and I usually don't watch TV. So, usually I'll have like a podcast going in my ear. But when I'm working with you guys, I don't have anything on. And all of a sudden, it just got really quiet. I should probably be quiet so the dog don't start barking, right? Okay, so this guy's stuck right there. Okay, so as you can see what we're doing here. Okay, so now that we got the insides done, we're just going to add that little piece back into here. All right, because that's going to be the biggest part. Okay, and now I think I'm going to roll this at a number 0, which of course is the thickest on my machine. Okay, because what I want to do is I kind of want to make this into a leaf shape. But I'm only going to go up to the bottom leaf. I'm not going to cover that bottom leaf. That is going to stick out. Okay, and I folded it in half. Okay, I don't know if I need any more on this side, but I think I'm going to take it like right there. I'm going to go right here to the bottom. And I'm going to take a mandrel, or just something really small. Not sure how clean these are. Okay, and I'm just going to stuff it in so that it's on the side of it, but not covering it. Okay, and you'll see how it's not quite the shape that I want it to be. Okay, so this is going to come down like this. So I'm going to just add a little bit more to here. I'm going to bevel it. Okay, and I'm probably going to do one more on the other side, and then that's it, I think. So let me get just a little bit more. Okay. Not sure that's 1 inch across. And yep, we're going to bevel this too. You know, you can bevel this side too. But we didn't. Now you see how on the bottom here we got this big old space. So we've got a fix for that, right? Just take a little bit of clay and shove it right down in the center of it. I didn't think to turn it over, which probably would have been a great idea, but I didn't do that. All right, it's still too big. And it's not at a place that I can take it apart. And I honestly don't know how far down I need to go. Okay, that'll get squished. Okay, so now basically, if you want, you can also take this and just reduce this slightly. Just make sure you're looking at both sides so that you're not cutting into the leaf. Okay, this side as well. Just gonna cut a little bit off that corner. Yep, see how close that came? So you got to be really careful. It saves a little bit of your Cernit or whatever translucent you're using by cutting it off a little bit. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to take off of this. Okay. All right, so that is our final. So now we just have to reduce it. And because this is going to go on a bead or beads, that is why I didn't want to make it too big. Like if it was 1.5, I'd have a lot of reducing. And I know a lot of you are like me, that they get all wonky in the end, right? So they look great when you start, but then as you go, they just don't look as great as they were. So this way, if you just make a small cane, which is going to give you enough for your projects, well, depending on what you're doing, but it usually will give you enough. But this way you don't have to take more chances of it all distorting by the time you get to the end. Okay, so again, my beads, I mean, they range anywhere from a little over 1 inch to, what am I, these are usually always the same size. So they're about 18 millimeters, I would think. So it's about a little over 3/4. So you're going to want this smaller than 3/4. So if you can get this like 1/2 inch, a little over 1/2 inch, then I think you're good. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and do. So I don't know how long this is going to take me. I'm going to go slow and steady instead of really fast. Okay, just to make sure I don't mess it up. And then we will come back. We're about a little over 1 inch, about 1.25 inches. So let me get this done. I will come back and we will see the final result. See you in a bit. Hey guys, here we go. I have no idea how this is going to look, but cross your fingers. Do a little drum roll on your side. And let's see what we got, right? So I got this down to about 1/2 inch, a little bit bigger. But I didn't want to go any smaller because I wanted to take a look at it. Oh my gosh, so here we go. Oh, no. No. Well, guys, nope. Ah, look at what happened. So when I reduced it and pushed the bottom, it turned the leaves around. All right, so we've got a funky looking, gosh darn it, a funky looking leaf. Is it bad? No, we can still use it, but I don't know what the beads are going to look like now. I should have left it alone. So if you kind of understand what I'm saying. So this was a triangle, right? And I wanted it pointy on both sides. So unfortunately, when I pushed it like this, it pushed that leaf straight down. Could I get them back up? I may. So we might as well see if we can do that, right? See if we can lift it back up. All right, we'll turn both sides. And I guess on the bottom leaves, I can always put a flower over it. But no, this did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. So as you can see, we all have issues making flowers. Doesn't matter if you're just a new person trying clay, or you've done this for a few years, or if you've done it for 30 years. There's always that one that's just gonna get you, right? And well, hello, this one got me good. It got me good. I can't really see where the leaf is, but I'm just gonna kind of push it up like this best I can. I can see slightly through this. Yeah, this one went bad. But what are you going to do? It happens. So I'm not going to worry about it. Ah, remember, I still got that 1.5 inch that I haven't used yet. Yeah, so, see. Crap. Alright, so I'm going to make the other one offline. Now, does it look better by fixing it? It kind of brought it up, not by a whole lot. Gosh darn it, I really had high hopes on that one. So, okay, so straight off the bat, got too much space between the top and the sides. This one doesn't look bad. This one I'm going to need to push up a little bit higher. These, yeah, they looked good, but unfortunately, because of me pushing that bottom piece down, they went down. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and make the other one off camera. And I'll get it to this point where it's stretched out, and then we'll see what it looks like. Now, if I wanted to really quick... Well, son of a gun, Irene. I'm just going to take some of this green. Well, you know what? Why use good clay? I'm just going to use this yellow that I had before. And I am not even going to do anything with it. I'm going to wrap it in... Let's see what I have that I can wrap it in. Oh, look at this. I've got this little lace cane right here. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it. And then before I finish out this video, I'll come back and show you if it's usable. If not, I hate the fact of me wasting clay. Drives me absolutely crazy, but again, it's going to happen. Today was just my day. And am I going careful with this? Nope, I surely am not. Because it really doesn't matter at this point. This is going to be a fail regardless. So, all right, let's go ahead and round this up. I would have a darker bottom if I was literally making this into a bead, but since we're just trying to see if we can work around that issue, do I really want to try it again? I do. You know, I want to try and see if I can fix it. Okay, and this is the flower that we made. All right, let me go ahead and grab one of these leaves. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that don't even, it looks like a bug or something. It doesn't even look like what I was intending it to look like. Well, I did say I haven't made these but twice. Okay, so we're just gonna put like, we'll just put 4 on this one. And then we're just gonna round it up. Oh well, hopefully with videos like this, it shows you what not to do. And we find out all the bugs before we make another one, right? All right. I hate to turn the oven on for one bead, but I am going to do it anyways. So I'm just going to put this like on the bottom of the leaves right here. All right. Oh, the way I set them wasn't great either. Yeah, I didn't place them very well, but it's all right. It happens, right? Hey, at least the flower that I made the other day came out right. Yeah, I may have to rethink that whole thing now. All right, so we're going to do that. Yeah, no, I really don't like that at all. All right, so that's the bead. We're going to stick that in the oven. So yeah, I just had too much space. So I'm going to butt these against each other, I think, so that there's really not that much room in between the leaves. On the next one that I make, I'm going to put this at a number 3 instead of a number 5. And then I'm going to butt it up against each other. All right, so I'm going to do that. I mean, I don't know if you want to see me try and attempt it, but let me go ahead and get a bunch of Cernit taken care of, and then maybe I'll come back and we'll do it together, see if we can make the next one better. Alrighty, guys. Well, remember how I said how I didn't think the last time, right? So I'm going to try and get these that I made in 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to try and get these to 2 inch. That one I just started wrapping without even realizing it. It was 1 1/2 inches. I don't want to go that big. And as you saw the way the last one turned out, now you know why I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're just going to take these. Okay. I'm going to get that to 2. Just a little short. So there's 4. We just need 1 more. And we actually have enough to make 1 more too. So that's kind of cool. This one I'm not going to be on camera as much, so that I don't make this video, 2 to 3 hours. Okay. Okay. Now on this one, I'm wrapping it with a 3. Okay, but what I'm going to do on this one that I didn't do on the last time was I'm going to bevel the end. Okay, that will keep it from going, hopefully, on the leaf itself. Okay, so I'm taking one end and I'm just making it really thin. Okay, and right there where I've got it folded, which I really can't see, we're going to bevel that too. Okay, so I'm going to do that on all of them. There we go. That way it just kind of lays in there and there's no extra. Okay, so I'm going to do that on all 5 and I will come back. Hey guys, so we have it together here. And I haven't cut this out yet. Okay, so this is the area that I made, right? Let me make sure this is 1 inch high. Might be a little bit bigger. So we're going to condense this a little bit, right? We are going to condense it. Okay, we may not put any space in between it. We may put it just like that. Okay, that's why we wrapped it with the 5. Because that's going to give it enough room with all of this. I almost did that, didn't I? So I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to make this just a little thinner, especially on this side. And hopefully, they'll fit in there a little better. And Jake's about to go bark, bark, bark. As you can hear, this one's a little bigger. I hope this one works, because we'll get another stick man, right? That's definitely something I don't want. Okay. So I'm gonna put it to where, you know, they're both kind of sticking up like that. I'm really hoping that this works a little better, because you have to remember is we got our leaf is wrapped with a number 3, not a number 5 this time. Okay, so we're just going to give it a little tail. Okay, and now I'm going to fill this up. And I'm not going to fill up past this. I'm not going to go over. I think I'm just going to leave that alone. All right, so let me pack it. Then I'm going to reduce it, and then I'm going to come back. Alrighty, guys, we're here to see the damage I create on this one, right? Okay, let's see. We're just going to cut it right in half here. Ta-da! Okay, that one looks much better. Okay. So there we go. So basically what we just did was we reduced it in a triangle. We left it in a triangle, but I'm sorry I didn't show this part to you. Since this is the end, I'm going to use this as my sample. Okay. So I just kept looking at the ends, right? See? And then I just kind of moved everything so that it would match up. When I reduced it, I took the bottoms like this and I pushed up. Okay, I pushed up, which helped round it a little bit, right? And it kept its shape. And that way all the leaves, this is the end, so it's not going to look great, but, and it just kept everything where it should be. So sorry for the goof on the very first one, but it helped me realize what I had to do on the second one. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of a nice leaf that we can put on some flowers. Okay, and if you see that, how that is the way it is, just kind of take that part now and just kind of use your finger. And all you're doing is just pushing it. Okay, you don't have to manipulate too much or you might distort it really bad. But just use your fingers like that, and hopefully when you cut into it, it'll be straight up and down. Okay, and then you can round it, but be careful when you round it that you round it to where you're pushing up, not down, or you'll take those leaves right back down. Okay, so there's our leaf. We're good to go. So we may make some beads, or we may just take some of the flowers that we make and try and make a bunch of stuff next time. I do have one other video before I start making these into beads that I will show you next week. Another thing you can do, like I wanted to put these together, but now I'm looking at it going, that's a lot of green and yellow, right? So you can make your leaves any color you want. You can make them brown, you can make them blue. You don't have to make them green. That's what I did to try and keep it realistic. But it might be just a little bit too much yellow and green. And this is going to look funky anyways because my leaves are pretty bad on this one. So we'll come back and do those. I do have one other video, like I said, that I will do first. And I still have this, right? So let's finish this one. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with this one, just so I don't waste this clay. All right. And what do we get? 2 inches? Let's see if we can get it to 3 inches. I think that beveling it made a big difference as well. Because it didn't go past the green like the first one did. Okay, so I'm keeping this round, right? I don't think this one's going to have a stem. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. I just don't want to waste it. So, I mean, I could leave it alone like this too, right? So that's one thing cool. You can make it just a leaf. Or you can take all three of them. Which is what I was gonna do. And because you've got the translucent in between, it's gonna separate them each. So I don't know how that's gonna look, but I am sure I'll find something to use it on. Alrighty, doesn't look like it's raining anymore, but it is getting dark. So I'm gonna take the little guy for a walk. Okay, well, I still didn't cut off all the end like I should have. Okay, so that can be just a regular element. Right? Alright guys, so that's it for this time around. We'll see you next time. Have a great week. Talk to you later. Bye.